What he said in his words in the Jatakas and the other places is he simply said that his avatar came from a different domain. Domain, samajhta? And naturally he had had multiple births before this, and that he, in this particular birth, he has reached the state of enlightenment. Enlightenment.
So the previous births, he was not. मतलब deer wear बना था.
हाँ, he was not.
But he was Krishna himself. Then वो deer बन के without realization deer बनने का क्या फायदा है?
अरे Krishna is also Vishnu. Vishnu is not realized.
But that's a demigod, no Vishnu.
So Buddha must have been a demigod before. No? He became what is called as a bodhisattva before he became Buddha, isn't it? See, every person has to pass through Arhat, bodhisattva, and then Buddha. So like that, one after the other stages he has to pass through. So in the first stage he will become a sadhak type of a person. Then he will become semi-liberated, and then he will become fully liberated or realized. So when he becomes realized, he is the choice. I don't want to come back. Even in all these books we are saying, if you don't want to come back, don't come back. You can take a termination letter and take a full, all sabbatical all your life also. No problem.
But why does an avatar have to pass through all those stages?
With the body.
You are also an avatar, boss. Just now you have to go running to the toilet, no? What? Every avatar has to go through problems, sir. Even the bird outside is an avatar. He has to go stage to stage to stage to stage to stage. Maybe in his life there may be, 1 million times he has to take birth before he can become realized. Some people may have to take 10 million births. So realization is an end point. End point. After realization, you can completely dissolve and you can disappear.
But there is a distinction between material world people and being realized and.
Yeah, it is a step. Have you ever gone to mountains where you have to climb 1,000, 10,000 steps or something like that? Gone. So there is somebody on the first step, somebody on the second step, somebody on the 10th step, somebody on the 200th step, isn't it? At 10,000 step, they meet the Dattatreya. That is a different story. In Girnar mountain, that is how it is. 10,000 steps is what they are supposed to have. I believe. I don't know. I have not gone. I never had to climb them. अपने को तो सीधा उधर डायरेक्ट एंट्री ऊपर से. Padma, you are thinking very deeply about something.
If you're brain dead, then you can't revive the body.
If
Your body is brain dead.
Brain dead, huh?
So brain is the most important organ in the body. Right?
For the human body.
Yeah. So it controls everything. So does that mean we reach the state of Shiva? Brain is the Shiva. Can you gain total control of your body?
No. It is not about the brain. What we are trying to do is we are trying to merge the power. See, brain is just an organ. Now, an organ may not have the power. People have brain, but they have no brainy stuff in the brain. Correct, no? So they are completely dunce in the brain. They have big brain also.
Actually, they showed this in the how they removed the brain from the mummy, but only the heart. When they're actually, they felt that the brain is just an organ.
After they removed the brains from the mummy, he became a daddy or what?
Oh, please.
Because nowadays daddies are brainless people. That makes me one. Nobody else. Oh, the Senthil is also there.
That was a bad PJ.
Okay, let us come back. Bad joke, huh? Sorry. So the thing is, brain is an organ. It is like a chip. It's like you have a Pentium,
i7.
Yeah, i7. Okay. Now Pentium i7 is useless if it is not connected to the rest of the system. And if it is not powered on, again it is worthless. So powering on is a must. You may have an i7, but it is not used. Like I have a very high-end, पता नहीं क्या NVIDIA GeForce, पता नहीं कैसे कुछ कुछ है, and still I can't use half of it. I don't even know what it does. It is for gaming,
Yes.
but there are no games in my system. So isn't it useless? So brain can be there, does not matter. But its brain is also a part which has been given to you to achieve the objective. Objective is important. When we are in the spiritual world, what happens is the Shakti. Shakti is the power within. It has to rise higher. Means maximum output is required. To reach peak efficiency, don't you want the efficiency to be the highest level? To reach peak efficiency, the system has to be fully functional and no kachra patti in the system. Means you should have a defragmented disk and how do you do peak performances?
Yeah, optimum efficiency.
Yeah. So optimization of the brain will only happen if you give the right power to it. Correct? What is the power? The power is the knowledge which is going to make you reach the divine. Otherwise, what are we doing? We are using less power. It is like, imagine you have a Ferrari and you are using it from going from here to MG Road and coming back. So many khaddas. What is the point in having a Ferrari? हाँ, एक तो सबसे पहले तो हम बोलेंगे अरे वो 1 लीटर पर किलोमीटर चलता है. So you may have a Ferrari in your brain, but it is of no use if it is not being put to the right use. So it needs a racing track. It needs a good driver. Okay, and it needs competition. So in our brain is like a Ferrari. The inner being is the person who is going to drive it. The racing track is like a straight track. It's like a Malaysian Grand Prix car. ऊपर से या Monte Carlo. वो नीचे से ऊपर तक आएगा. And the racing track is like this, like an oval.
आपने ड्रॉ किया था.
Like an oval. So you have to go on the racing track. You have to keep on going faster and faster. The competition is what? You are competing against all the gods within your system. Because at some place the god can put you down, isn't it? Yeah. Because see, like somewhere he may say, "Acha, okay, fine. I am going to give you this. So wait over here." What happens? People lose races. You know, no? People lose race. They are paid a very good amount to lose the race. Just a few days ago, there was an article of that wrestler, Indian wrestler. He was offered a lot of money to lose that wrestling bout. But he didn't. So again, what happens in our body, when we are racing towards this divinity, we may come across these kind of obstacles in the path. Sometimes the system itself crashes. We don't know, it crashes literally. And then we are out of it. Because certain obstacles are definitely going to be a root cause of your failures. You know, IPL matches वगैरह देखा है क्या BPL कौन सा मैच रहता है वो? ये अभी IPL. वो IPL का क्रिकेट खेलने के बजाय वो पॉम वाला गर्ल लोग को देखते बैठेगा तो गया, तो मैच भी गया और पानी में सब डूब भी गया, है कि नहीं? तो lust and greed are the main obstacles on the path, because as you grow higher and higher, you come across these obstacles very fast in your life. That they keep on coming.
So does the power of discrimination lie with the brain or intellect in partners?
The intellect is not the brain, by the way. Brain is just an organ. Brain is just an organ. Like it's a super organ. In our computer we have we call it the brain, but it is not a brain. If there are other parts are not there, what is the point? See, even in a phone, there is a chip which is very important. It's actually a processor. It's a high-end processor. What is it called?
A6 Apple का A6 है
हाँ कुछ तो भी है. वो खाली प्रोसेसर रख के चलेगा नहीं, पूरा सिस्टम बनता है. पूरा सिस्टम is then going to become the main cause of our reaching the state of realization. The moment Ma, which is called Shakti or the power, reaches the state of the Sahasrahar, cracking the Brahmandra, it can explode out into the open space, because that is basically where she is trying to go with Shiva. This union itself is very, very explosive. And the explosive union can take you out of the bodily circle of life and death and life and death and life and death. All these bodies are there. So that will go away. But brain dead, one thing which you said, brain dead. Brain dead means, imagine your main unit itself is not functioning. Then you can't do anything, isn't it? See, in like say for example, there are lots of people who have what is called as Down syndrome and various other things, which are connected to the diseases of the brain. They have been actually downgraded for that levels. Downgraded. So you can't help them because their karma states like that. And the karma is itself responsible for all these things. You can't blame them. It is like you have been given maybe मारुति है और उसके अंदर फेरारी का इंजन डाल के दिया है, तुम कैसा चलाएगा? वो पूरा गाड़ी हिल के टूट जाएगा. नहीं तो ऐसा समझो कि फेरारी में मारुति का इंजन या फिर तो दूसरा कोई कभी है ना 2 व्हीलर का इंजन डाल के दिया, तो चेसी है फेरारी का, लेकिन एक 2 व्हीलर का, नहीं तो अपना ऑटो रिक्शा का डाल के दिया. इमेजिन करना, पुट 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 चलने वाला है. तो मिसमैच कैन हैपन. Mismatch can definitely happen. Again, if you are having certain other bodily problems, let us say for example you have a bodily function. Suppose you have a problem connected to a particular issue. Let us say for example you have a problem connected to your hands, or to your legs, or to your heart, or to something like that. Is your mind diverted towards that or not? जो बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है उसके ऊपर तुम्हारा माइंड डाइवर्टेड रहेगा, तो पेन आएगा, तकलीफें होगी, हॉस्पिटल जाना पड़ा, तो इज योर माइंड नॉट डाइवर्टेड इन दैट डायरेक्शन? या you are not focused on God, you are focused on that.
Also had these bodily problems. He used to come down from that level.
Not because he had bodily problems that he used to come down, he had to be brought down. Because these people, they don't care for their body, so their mind is resting at the feet of the Lord. That's what we did last time, if you remember. The last time was the mind has to be always immersed at the feet of the Lord. You have to keep the mind over there. So if your mind is over there, then what happens? Then your mind is not going to be in the disease or in the pain or in whatever problems that you are going to have in the world. No, mind is at the feet of the Lord. Finished. No problems. Body will have their issues. See, body is going to have a pain, body is going to have everything. But if your mind is detached from the pain, there is no question of anything happening. Again, if you see the case of, Mirabai. Mirabai could drink an entire glass of poison and nothing happened to her. Mind was at the feet of Krishna and she just drank it like drinking a glass of water. So if you do that, then it is Krishna's problem, not yours. Why are you bothered about it? Got it? Whether if you see, if you have to continue further, then Krishna will have to convert that poison into kashaya, I think. What? So he may convert it into that. Who knows? It does not matter. Correct? So even brain dead people, they have a difficulty, they can't reach. You need faculties all in place till you reach there. Once you reach there, then there is no problem at all. Then you can have brain dead, you can have body dead also, does not matter. All functions down to zero also, it really does not matter. Because people can be completely laid off and yet they can retain the body. Body can be brought back to life once again. That's easy. So we'll do something, or any questions? Senthil, anybody? No? Okay, so we'll do. Questions by King Parikshit. King Parikshit inquired from Sukdev Goswami. How did Narad Muni, this is chapter 8 by the way. How did Narad Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the qualities of the Lord who is without material qualities, and before whom did he speak? The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies and are certainly auspicious for living beings on all planets. O greatly fortunate Sukdev Goswami, please continue narration of Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely free from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. Okay, here what he is saying, I will just do some modification and I will tell you. When your mind is at the feet of the Lord, mind is at the feet of the Lord, okay? And here he says, O greatly fortunate Sukdev Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. He says, what is the first step is hearing the name of the Lord, hearing. Narad Muni is going to say or no, Sukdev Goswami is telling him, yes or no. Sukdev is telling Parikshit about what Narada said, correct? Right? To his father. Whose father? To his father. Sukdev Goswami's father.
Yes.
Vyasdev. So like that. So there is story within story within story. So you have to keep the track of the story. The line has to be correctly drawn there. So here what happens is he is keeping in his mind whatever that Narad Muni said. Sukdev Goswami is going to repeat it to Parikshit. Parikshit says, whatever that you say, I shall hear it. So first, body consciousness. So all the senses have to be attuned. This word is important. Attunement is important. How does attunement happen? You know how attunement happens? Suppose you are hearing a song. You are hearing a song. Now you came and here and you said that they put one song on what? Yeah, Chale Dil Chale, something like that. It is from the movie Cocktail. And you said one word over there. If I use this song for Krishna, then what happens? Tu hi hai bandhu saka tumi. You know that song. It's a beautiful song from the movie Cocktail. There the guy is singing to the girl, or the girl is singing to the guy, whichever the way it is. But let us say you are singing this song to Krishna. You are using your voice, correct, and your ears. What happens to your eyes? What happens to your other sense organs? They are all attuned towards this one only. So when Narada is talking to Vyas, or when Sukdev Goswami is going to talk to Parikshit, his ears are attuned in one direction and his eyes are completely seeing the vision of the Lord. Correct? And you know, at that point in time, believe it or not, this happens. You can actually smell the the chandanam that is put on the Lord. Actually smell it. Not a joke. It's something which happens. And then your body has auriculation because you are seeing the Lord in person literally. So when this happens, your mind also gets attuned. So first it is the senses and then the mind. And once the mind is attuned with the senses, it is going at the feet of the Lord. And it is lying over there. This is what he is trying to say. So you have to do this. This is a sequence, procedure. Procedure is like this. So, persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have Krishna manifested in their heart within a short time. So if you actually listen to these words of the Srimad Bhagavatam, or that is the glory of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is called the glories of the Lord. Glories बोलेगा तो उसका stories है, सब अलग अलग वो क्या क्या किया वो सब है उसमें. All these tigrambaji is there in this book. Okay, full life story. So when you are talking about the stories, what is going to happen is when we are going to talk about Bal Krishna, you are going to become like a child and you are going to think of Bal, the small baby Krishna, and what all dangabaji he was doing. Going and breaking somebody's matki and doing all sorts of, you're going to be immersed in it, isn't it? So when you are immersed in the stories of the Lord, at such point in time, that same Krishna manifests in your heart. Manifestation. Manifestation is in your heart, you become Jagrut. It comes out of that place. It's literally like Swayambhu, he's coming from inside, he's not coming from outside. अंदर से बाहर जैसा नहीं गया, बाहर से अंदर नहीं गया, अंदर से प्रकट हो गया, अंदर प्रकट हो जाता है. So he says manifested in the heart within no time, within a short time. The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits in the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material associations such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus it acts like an autumnal rain upon pools of muddy water. So he's described it so beautifully. He says, hearing the name of the Lord. Just hearing the name and the stories of the Lord is so sweet that Krishna enters the heart of this self-realized devotee. The real devotee is always realized. Please understand. He doesn't know he is realized. No devotee knows he is realized. What happens is you are still under the material constraint. So how is this happening? See, when the sound enters, the sound incarnation, what is the sound incarnation? The story, Bhagavata is the sound incarnation. We have discussed this before. The story is the sound incarnation. That day when we were talking, just now we were talking about the Buddha incarnation. Now this is called the sound incarnation. So whatever the Bhagavata, the story that is being told, is a sound incarnation. It enters within your being through your ears. So this incarnation then enters your heart. And once it enters your heart, of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship. Remember, we have discussed this lotus feet of the Lord, lotus. See, it is nothing. Lotus is lying in the dirtiest of the places. Have you ever been to a lotus pond? The lotus pond is full of muck. Downstairs, if you go, you can't find the stalk. You know where the stalk is. Have you ever tried to find the stalk of lotus? It is so deep inside. It's like 20-30 feet deep. Right inside. You cut it from top. But the lotus flower will always be clean, spick and span, beautiful. If you actually look at a lotus, it is outside like this and beautiful. So the lotus feet of the Lord is there, inside the muck of your heart. The heart is having all the dirt inside, inside, outside. So what happens? And thus cleanses the dust of material association. Every person has material association. I want this, I want that, my family, my house, my car, my servants, my money, my gold, my this, my relationships, my job, everything. These are called material association. It removes the dust, cleans it out. And what are these things connected to? These are basically three things, isn't it? Lust, anger, and hankering. I want. Lust is there, anger and hankering. These three things. Thus it acts like the autumnal rain upon pools of muddy water. The pure devotee of the Lord, whose heart has once been cleansed by the process of devotional service, never relinquishes the lotus feet of the Lord, for they fully satisfy him as a traveler is satisfied at home after the troubled journey. So once you have heard these beautiful words of the Lord, being described in its own way, beautiful words, then what happens to the person? The person never goes back to the material world at all. So if you want to get out just now, you can get out. Resignation before you hear the whole Bhagavata. After that, you will not want anything in this world. I'm joking. Huh?
Wanting is one, but both karmas lead to that.
No, this is when you hear the lotus words. These are lotus, beautiful words, and they are sinking in. Tuck, 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 tuck. They are going right inside and hitting you where it actually is supposed to. As a devotee, there is nothing in this world that you need to fear after that. Because if your mind and your senses are at the feet of the Lord, body को जो करने का है करने दो ना, उसको क्या? It does not matter. The lust and greed will only come if your mind is associated to material world. If it is associated at the feet of the Lord, what difference does it make? Then you are lusting and you are greedy only for Krishna, nobody else. Isn't it? O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, or is it is known to you? Okay, this is a question which Brahmana means Sukdev. So he is asking Sukdev, can you please tell us how a person acquires a body? If the Supreme Personality of God, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of the common living entities? These are various questions. The Lord's body, if you remember in the previous chapter, we were describing him as just such a small tiny one, isn't it? 9 inches, isn't it? That's all. And then now he is talking about a Lord who is sleeping. From his navel comes that stem, and on the stem there is a lotus flower. On the lotus flower sits Brahmaji. Now how is that God connected to a normal human being? As I said, everything happens in this form. Correct? Right?
In 3 places.
Yeah. Now how does this happen? This is the question that is being asked. So does it happen as per his own caliber and measurement? So the question is asked. Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. Please also explain Krishna, who lies in every heart as a super soul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy. That means what? Krishna is coming in a particular form. What is the form? Also as a super soul. Correct? As the Param Atma. Atma is one, Paramatma is another. Correct? If he is coming as a Paramatma, what kind of a form, what kind of a thing that he is doing over there? Then he says, what is this energy is all about? Alright? Does he get tainted by the energy outside? You asked this question just now. When Buddha took the form of a bird and the deer and all that. So, does he get tainted by that form? O learned Brahmana, it was formally explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in different parts of the gigantic body of the Virat Purush. I have also heard that different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat Purush. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that? So we have discussed about this earlier. Now again is the same thing. He says, so many planets are there outside. I said, no, the planets are there. Moon is there. Sun is there. Okay. Other planet systems are there. Sun, so many other planetary suns and moons are there. Plus there are stars. So all these have a representation. Their boss is sitting in one place. That particular domain is a head of that domain. It's like he's a chairman of a company, isn't it? So the chairman of a company is not equal to the company. Company is a company, chairman is a chairman. So the chairman is a person who is representing that particular domain. So he is sitting in the Virat Purush somewhere. So where is he sitting? What does he do over there?
Who is Virat? Virat का meaning क्या है?
Huh?
विराट का meaning क्या
भगवद गीता में विराट स्वरूप बताया था. That stupendous, humongous form which Krishna showed to Arjuna, isn't it? That is the Swarup. In that there were so many heads, if you remember the Bhagavad Gita, so many heads, so many hands, so many eyes, so many tongues. बोला था ना कि नहीं बोला था? दांत में से कुछ आ रहा है, इधर हो रहा है, उधर हो रहा है. He says, I have so many things, I don't even know how far I am extending. बोला था? That is the Swarup. In that, domain heads are there in different locations. What are they and where they are? Also, please explain the duration. Explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time indicated by this sound of past, present, and future. Please also explain the duration and the measurement of life of different living beings known as the demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe. So these are the questions which even a normal human being asks. Why are there so many planets? Do you think a human being born over here, how many years he will live? Suppose he is born in another planet, okay, how many years he will live over there? ये question तो आते हैं कि नहीं आते? So the same questions are being asked. O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of different durations of time, both short and long, as well as beginning of time following the course of action. Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creature. Now, how do people become demigods to all these different insignificant creatures? Something is ruling there. Something is happening. What is that something? Kal is acting. Kal is acting, and on the other side, what else is happening? Over there, along with Kal, is the karma that is happening, isn't it? Because of the karmic action, a person degrades or goes up in life. So he wants to know about that. These are the different things that may happen over there. O best of Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heaven, the sky, the planets, the stars, the moons, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and the islands, as well as the different kinds of inhabitants take place. Also, please describe the inner and the outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great soul, and also the characteristic of the different classifications of the caste and the orders of social life. Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. Yes, you are asking something? Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affliction of human society as well as their specific occupational duties in religion. The classification of the social orders as well as the administrative royal orders and the religious principles for the one who may be in distress. Here he is asking one important question here is about Swadharma. Because you may be in different stages in life, so what is the Swadharma of that person? Kindly explain all the elementary principles of creation, the number of such elementary principles, their causes, and their development, and also the process of devotional service and the methods of mystic powers. Mystic powers are those powers which you gain when you know certain chanting mantras or maybe siddhis that you obtain when you are going on the path. This is what I was just explaining. You can fall down if the siddhis capture you. What are the opulences of the great mystics? And what is in their ultimate realization? What is their ultimate realization? How does a perfect mystic become detached from the subtle astral body? And what is the basic knowledge of the Vedic literature, including the branches of history and the supplementary Puranas? Yes.
Parikshit has only 21 days, right? So, why is he bothering about all this?
He is bothering because all the story has to come to you. He is trying to do compression. He is using zip file. You see, if he doesn't do this, how will you get the knowledge also? Parikshit is not some person. Parikshit is also you. You are also listening to the story or no? Are you not listening to the story? When you are listening to the story, you are also, he has given you some 5-6 lines before yourself. Na? If you listen very carefully, then you will also reach that state. Which Parikshit has reached, you can also reach that stage. Correct ना? तो 21 days में खत्म हो सकता है, नहीं ऐसा नहीं, नॉन स्टॉप बजाना पड़ेगा.
7 days.
हाँ 7 days. एक्चुअली टोटल 9 days था उसके हाथ में. क्या कितने भी डेज रहने दो यार, क्या करने का है. वनडे इंटरनेशनल भी खेलेगा तो जीत और हार के बीच में है ना. You need to play the match correctly or no. So here it is what he wants to ask and what answers are going to be given. The answers have more value. It is like Krishna is taking Arjuna in the middle of battlefield. That particular Sri Bhagavad Gita, it will take a human being millions of lives to understand. For Arjuna, just imagine, मैं उधर जाके खड़ा हुआ और वहां से इधर आया और चालू बैटल. तो सोच लेना, इन द बैटलफील्ड में कितना टाइम मिला उसको. 5-10 मिनट्स का टाइम रहता है. वो एनिमी तो पकड़ के धोने के लिए रेडी है तेरे को. तो इमेजिन करना, वो उसका मिसाइल फायर करने के लिए, ओके यू टेक योर 5 मिनट्स टॉक टू कृष्णा, मीनवाइल आई विल पुट माय फिंगर ऑन टॉप एंड कीप रेडी. ऐसा करके थोड़ी करता है कोई. Ready. It is not. This book is also a similar story. Like his grandson is hearing. Whose grandson? No, this story is listened by the grandson.
Arjuna's grandson.
He is listening, no? Same story repeated once again. But this time with lot of colorful thing. Correct? So, I can shut this book, I don't mind. I can tell you in one line formula what you have to do to reach this last page also. You want to hear, I can tell you. But do you think you will be able to go there? See, if I don't explain, you see, if you don't have a song, Indian movies, Bollywood movies have lot of song, dance, this, that. तभी जाके 2 घंटा 3 घंटा बनता है. फिर जाके एक लाइन स्टोरी को तुम एक्सप्लेन कर सकता है. बॉय मीट्स गर्ल, चेन्नई एक्सप्रेस, फॉल्स इन लव, गेट्स मैरिड, फिनिश, एंड ऑफ स्टोरी. लेकिन बीच में का मैंने अगर नहीं दिया गाना बिना ये वो व्हाट, तो कैसा चलेगा. हाँ, विलन भी मांगता है रंगवली. ओ विलन भी मांगता है. अगर विलन नहीं रहेगा, हीरोइन नहीं रहेगा, डांस नहीं रहेगा, कलरफुल सॉन्ग्स नहीं रहेगा कुछ, तो पिक्चर तुम देखेगा क्यों. तो वन लाइन में मैं तुमको पिक्चर का स्टोरी बोला कि नहीं. There will be no story only, no excitement. You require excitement. Okay? Excitement बोलेगा तो कैसा है. स्टोरी बोलेगा तो शादी करना पड़ेगा. बोला this is my sperm, this is my egg, join together and have a baby. Don't bother about the rest. बोला ऐसा करके चलता नहीं है ना. चलता है क्या. What? So you need a full story. Yeah. Excitement भी मांगता है, थोड़ा सा sadness भी मांगता है, थोड़ा गाना गाने का, थोड़ा और कुछ. So the reason is story is important.
You need all the rasas.
Yes. So you need excitement also. Don't worry. You're going to get anger, greed, lust, ये वो पूरा दुनियादारी आने वाला है. You don't want to hear? Good.
उसके पास टाइम कम था तो
टाइम नहीं रहेगा तो कंप्रेशन में मार देंगे ना स्टोरी. धक 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 धक.
He doesn't know when he is next human birth. So he wants to listen it now. And he's still able to.
Yeah, zip file. So I download zip files. Oh yeah. Maybe his network was super fast. Who knows? So please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained and how they are annihilated. Tell me the advantage and disadvantage of discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and the injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rituals? What are the procedures of religion, economic development and self-satisfaction? Imagine करना ये पूरा दुनियादारी तुम्हारा ग्रेजुएशन लेवल तक का कोर्स के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं व्हाट बोर हो गया Please also explain how merged in the body of the Lord living beings are created and how the infidels appear in the world. Also please explain how the unconditional living entities exist. The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastimes by his internal potency. At the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency and he remains as witness to all. O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you and all that I may not have inquired from you from the very beginning of my questioning. Since I am a soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection. Actually, this is what in the beginning he was told, you have to listen to these stories of the Lord. So whatever the time that might be. Okay, even if the story is half incomplete, maybe you can take another life and start from where you left, isn't it? Oh great sage, you are good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow customs only, as followed by the previous philosophical speculators. O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of message of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speech, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting. He was also doing fasting. You see, if you are fasting, what happens? You are only thinking of food, 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 and you can't think about the Lord, Lord, Lord. What? He says no, but your sweet stories are not allowing me to think about the food. They are just allowing me to think about the Lord. Sutta Goswami said, thus Sukdev Goswami being invited by Maharaj Parikshit to speak on topics of Lord Sri Krishna with the devotees was very much pleased. I was going to start the replies. He began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the science of the personality of Godhead was first spoken by the Lord himself to Brahma when he was first born. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature and it is just in pursuance of the Vedas. So first time the Lord himself told his own stories to Brahmaji. Correct? Yesterday when we had gone to this particular ashram, I asked the gentleman over there, can you please tell me stories about the person over here? I was given very sketchy stories, very little anecdotes from the life of this particular sage. But the story cannot be completed unless and until the sage himself tells the story. So this particular sage told his story to a person who then drew it on in a painting. And that painting was kept next to his bed. So that means the story has to be told in a particular way so that it is written down, so that it is carried forward, so that somebody else hears it. So the Lord himself has to first tell the story. Correct? To Brahmaji. Brahmaji will then impart it to somebody else, and then that somebody else will impart it to somebody else, and it continues like that. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature. Vedas are there. This is supplementary literature. This is like a storybook. Of all the Vedas put together, it's like a storybook. He also prepared himself to reply to all that the king Parikshit had inquired from him. Maharaj Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandus, and thus he was able to ask the right questions to the right person. So we end this chapter over here. This is chapter 8.
His replies are in next chapter.
No, the replies are going to extend till all the books are through. The questions are finished. Now only answers. So,
Parikshit will not speak anymore.
yes, yes. So, should I speak or should I take a break? I can speak. Okay. This is chapter 9, answers by citing the Lord's version. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Krishna, that is the personality of Godhead Krishna, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. So without the grace of the Lord, nothing can be known. Basic idea is this. So Krishna himself has to give the grace. Otherwise, how will you know anything in this material world also? The illusion living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceived thinking in terms of I and mind. So everybody thinks this is me, the body is me, I am the body. Correct or no? This is my hair, my hair. It is body's hair, not your hair. Correct or no? This is my hands. These are body's hands, not my hands. I have taken up the body. I have taken up the body. Body is like a car. Car ka steering wheel. Do I say this is my steering wheel? We don't say that. This is my car tire. Do I say this is my tire? Of course you can say this is my tire if you are very fat.
This is my bag.
Yeah, you will say that this is my tire. No, this tire is different. This is a car's tire. Right? But then why do you think of yourself, this body as you? Correct or no? These are my eyes. Why don't you say these are these body's eyes? Do you see this difference? What is it that makes you say these are my eyes? This is my nose. As a child they say, na, lovely nose, the eyes are blue, lovely too, something, something. Mother's pet, is that you? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, take one chocolate, eat it. What is that? We are taught like that. This is your eyes, this is your nose, these are your ears. So the child says, these are my eyes, these are my nose. And what do we do to the child? Show me your nose, show me your nose. छोटा बच्चा है, उसको साले को समझता नहीं है कुछ भी. कुछ समझता नहीं, फिर भी है ना, नोज बता, आंख बता, where is your toe, where is your hand. And it is like, training a parrot. हेलो हेलो करके वो बोलेगा, वैसा ये बच्चे को हम लोग ट्रेन करके उसका पूरा उसको धोके निकालते. So from that day onwards he said, these are my eyes, these are my nose, this is my hand. And that ahankara rises in a person. So we have already acquired the body. The acquisition becomes you. Ownership. So what we are doing, first we are trying to tell you, leave this ownership of the material world first. Material world outside is your ownership. Are you not saying that? This is my house. This is my car. ऐसा बोलते हैं कि नहीं बोलते हैं? तो सबसे पहले तो वो ओनरशिप निकल जाना जरूरी है. सेकेंड, बॉडी का ओनरशिप निकल जाना जरूरी है. दिस इज माई नोज, दिस इज माई आईज, कोई जरूरी नहीं. तो बॉडी इज आईज. बट do we go and kick our own car? No, we don't kick our own car, isn't it? Don't we keep it in a perfect condition? So this body is on hire. Like you have taken your car, किराए का बॉडी. लेकिन वो बॉडी को अच्छा रखना जरूरी है. अभी तू जाके कार को एक ठोक के मारा या कीला बीला लगाया, वो पंक्चर हो गया, तो खुद को ही चलाने को नहीं मिलेगा. So isn't it important that you need the right, you have to make use of your body perfectly. So don't misuse the body. Body is a vehicle. It's a vehicle. Don't think vehicle is you. So this is what it is. Thinking in terms of I and mind. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceives thinking in terms of I and mine. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in the constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconception of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as a pure self. So now, first give up everything that you think is your own. That means mine कभी होता है, this book belongs to me. I will say this one, this phone belongs to me. It has become mine. Correct? That means external objects are mine, which I think I own, and I, this is my eyes. My eyes. So that is I. Mine means I take ownership of external objects. And I is that which I think I own. Now both are wrong, isn't it? So when you give up these two, you become purified. That's what he says. Thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. When you give up the ownership of external and this body itself, then you will become absolutely pure self. Huh.
In a way, are the parents and the other elders who bring the child up, are they not responsible for making the child take the ownership of everything?
Correct. They may be responsible because you are thinking of I, me, myself. Still, tomorrow you will have a child. Will you not say to your child, I have to take care of you, you know? Yes or no? छोटा बच्चा रहेगा तो ऐसे ही उसको रास्ते पे छोड़ के चला जाएगा क्या? क्या हॉस्पिटल में छोड़ के चला आएगा? बोलेगा वायरस निकाल के रख दिया उधर, जा। नहीं ना? तो उसको तुम माइंड करेगा कि नहीं?
That is my duty, I have to do it.
See. Just now you are calling it duty, and just now when it was about your parents, you are thinking about something else. वो तेरे को ढूंढ रहे थे. Did you see the difference what you did just now? No. In the material world, a man requires a parents. See, if people don't teach you ABCD, I can't read this Bhagavatam. You know, yesterday when I went over there, they were talking in Sanskrit. And I was looking like this all over the place. And then Guru is telling me, he is telling Upanishads. I said, I am sorry sir, मेरे की Upanishad का U भी नहीं आता. हमने को नहीं आता. The Upanishads हैं, या he was quoting scriptures. He spoke some words from the Bhagavad Gita. I don't know Bhagavad Gita. Please understand. If the knowledge is incomplete, I don't understand your language. So to understand the understandable language, we need somebody to make us understand. And then we misunderstand because what our father and mother teaches, okay, then we take it all in the wrong direction. And then the teacher teaches us. The school, college, right or wrong. So all this knowledge which comes to us is a combination of ignorance, isn't it? Why is this ignorance given? Huh? Suppose, just think about it. If everybody over here is on a nude beach, nudist beach, you won't look at anybody. But when somebody is dressed up in 100 clothes and then one by one they are removing, then you will want to see that person more. Right or wrong? Yes or no? What? Curiosity, yes. The reason why we are covered by so many kanchikas, so many coverings, is because we have to unpeel them, remove them one by one. Right? The removing part is very interesting. What? If there was no removing, you won't understand a thing.
That's why Muslims are good at
Ah,
There is so much more to do.
yeah. The excitement is in not knowing. What? Understand? In all Western movies, the heroine is nanga panga all the time, and nobody is bothered about it. And in Indian movies, just little one latka and jatka, and people want to go, city bajate. What is there in that item numbers? I don't know. But the item numbers is nothing but bullshit. There is nothing there. Yet we think, oh my God, something there. So the reason why you have been given this is so that the unveiling is important. Removing all these. So how do you overcome Maya? In overcoming Maya is important. माया ओवरकम करके फिर भगवान के पास जाएंगे. You see, if it was just like, okay, give me your passport, jump, go to Goloka. No excitement at all.
Journey is not there.
हाँ, बस स्ट्रेट प्लेन उधर बैठा है, उधर से सीधा जाने का. तो तू जाएगा? You know, just think about it. Okay. आज खाएला काय बनलं म्हणून जाके घर पे पूछेगा तू. और बीवी ने बोला कि वही है, दाल राइस है. You know, you are not excited at all. And she says to you, why don't you go and see what is there inside? Curiosity बढ़ जाता है कि अभी क्या बनाया है, और तुम्हारा लेवल ऑफ क्यूरियोसिटी इतना हाई होता है ना. बोला यार क्या कुछ स्वीट बनाया रहेगा. मैं सॉरी, तेरे को स्वीट पसंद नहीं. बोला चिकन मटन ये वो कुछ बनाया रहेगा. तो जाके सब बर्तन खोल के देखता है कि नहीं खोलता है. तो वो क्यूरियोसिटी रहना जरूरी है. तो गोलोका का स्ट्रेट टिकट नो यूज. यू फर्स्ट हैव टू गो थ्रू डिफरेंट स्टेजेस. एप्लीकेशन डालने का जरूरी है. रिजेक्शन 10 बार आएगा. डम 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 रिजेक्टेड. यूएस वीजा. बोला तू टेररिस्ट लगता है, तेरे को नहीं ले सकते हम लोग. तो so like that, the unveiling is very important. So you are given this path. If it was an easy thing, then it would not be, the story is of no use, Think about it. Even a person like Parshuram, if he would not have killed those so many of the Kshatriyas, एक का मर्डर, दूसरे का मर्डर, तीसरे का मर्डर, फाइनली करते करते थक गया आदमी. फाइनली बोलता है मैं क्यों कर रहा हूं ऐसे. I don't know. So let me go and ask my Guruji, why am I doing all this? So he goes to his Guruji first and asks him. Then little by little some story will come. And then little by little some more story will come. Okay. If the story is told directly, okay, you are realized, go, next. So what is the point? So it is like, come in line, okay, come, you next, chalo ja, to next, jao. Selection process is very important. So I told, even when I told her, if you remember, you see, if there is no competition, then what is the point? You are single, just imagine, I won. What is the use?
फर्स्ट आया कितने लोग थे, एक ही था.
फर्स्ट आया कितने लोग थे, एक ही था. फायदा क्या है? वो रेस देखने को कौन आएगा फिर? वो तो रेस भी नहीं बोलेंगे ना उसको. तो 10 किलोमीटर पर आवर पे जाना, या गाड़ी ऐसे कंधे पे डाल के चलते जाना. So it's of no use. So did you get the answer? Important is time, how we go about it, slowly unveiling. It is important. The whole life has to be led. नहीं तो जीरो पे आउट होएगा तो सोचो, you are born, you are realized, and then gone. What is the point? So you are born, you are lost in the material world, then you are dragged back into this spiritual, and then slowly with all the difficulties, कर रहे, जोर लगा के ऐशा करके एक निकलते जा रहा है. कि थकने के बाद वो तुमको बैठने को थोड़ी देता है। बोला एक प्रॉब्लम खत्म नहीं होगा कि दूसरा सामने आ गया, ले आ गया अंदर से। it's an excitement galore, non stop चल रहा है, that is excitement. You see, if you get everything easily, it's not worth it. So excitement is important. So here also the Srimad Bhagavatam is going to talk about excitement, isn't it? O king, the personality of Godhead, being very much pleased with Lord Brahma because of his non-deceptive penance of Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma, and that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul. So just like Brahmaji was able to see the form of Krishna, in the same way, after hearing this story, you should be able to see the form of Krishna. What? If you become like Brahmaji. Alright? Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus seat, and while thinking of creating this material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he find the process of such creation. Brahmaji was a very confused person. He did not know where he came from, because he was sitting at the end of the lotus stalk, and like I told you, the lotus stalk is so long, you don't know where it is starting from also, right or wrong. So he was not aware of where he was born, how the creation happened, where did he come from, no idea. While thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahmaji heard twice from nearby two syllables joining together. One of the syllables was taken from the 16th and the other from the 21st of the Sparsha alphabet, and both joined to become the wealth of renounced order of life. What is this? What is this? 16th letter. What is the 16th letter?
Om, is it?
No. What is the 16th letter? Don't know. And what is the other 21st of the Sparsha tablet? You don't know. It is alphabet, is the pa. Tapa.
Penance.
Penance. Penance. Don't misspell. Otherwise you'll go to the dogs. So, tapa. Samjha? So, then only you are able to understand this entire, from this sound, the sound next to him. It came that these are the two letters which came about to tell him exactly what he is supposed to do. Tapascharya. Tapascharya is meditation. Basically, we are doing tapa. कुछ नाम लेके हम लोग बात करेंगे, भगवान के बारे में सोचेंगे. Burn all your coverings. Brahmaji is known for creation. So many coverings after coverings, isn't it? Rajasic person in reality. So what he does, he keeps on creating. Ye bana, ho bana, ho bana, ho bana. Imagine he's got one bhandar. If you are sitting in a mithai ki dukan with 101 type of mithais, do you think you are going to eat even one of them?
No.
You are going to be bored, because full life you are just, अच्छा इसका टेस्ट कैसा है, अच्छा इसमें शक्कर कम है, अच्छा इसमें है ना खोया कम है, अच्छा इसमें है ना नमक थोड़ा सा डालो, इसमें तीखा डालो. बोला क्या तुम्हारा कौन सा दुकान है? बोला मिठाई वाला है कि क्या है? नहीं, हम तो बाकी सब भी बनाते, चाट भी बनाते. In North India, no, they have all these chaat walas and the mithai wala in one place only. So first you eat this tikha, then you eat the mitha. And because mitha becomes too mitha, so you have to again eat the tikha. And then it's become too tikha, so you again eat the mitha. It's a non-stop nonsense going on. By the way, you know that? Finally, after you have finished, ना, कि तुम्हारा पेट का कैपेसिटी एकदम डिश हो गया है, तो फिर उसके बाद जरूर यू आर राइट अबाउट इट, उसके बाद एंड करने का पान से. हाँ, उसके बाद वो बोलेगा थोड़ा चूरन का गोली भी दे देना जरा. See, the thing is, we all end up like that, isn't it? That's why I gave you hajmola. Churan. So like that extension, so you don't know where to stop, where to end. So in the same way, Brahmaji had no idea because he was creating continuously. So he was covered and covered and covered. And that is the reason why he had to get this great vision of turf and purr. When he heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching from all sides. But when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it was wise to sit down on the lotus seat firmly and gave his attention to the execution of penance as he was instructed. Okay? So he was told, he started looking, कौन बोल रहा है, कौन बोल रहा है, कौन बोल रहा है, किधर कोई दिखता नहीं है. हाँ?
Akashwani.
All India radio. Wow. So something like that. Some sound came from somewhere, and then the person heard it, and then he kept on looking. कौन बुला रहा है? कोई दिखा नहीं. तो बोला अच्छा ठीक है. Instructions were to sit in tapascharya. So you will always find, have you ever seen Brahmaji's photo? Yeah, in one hand it is there. What is there? Lotus is there.
Some flower is
He is sitting on lotus, boss.
some flower is there.
He has got beads, and in one kamandalu. कमंडलू समझता है?
Money का.
हाँ. तो गलत मत सोचना, पानी का लोटा बोलता. You and your, okay, sorry, कमंडलू. अभी उसके ऊपर जोक मत बनाना.
शाप दे सकते हैं.
वो आखिर में लू आया, इसका मतलब वहां पे लेके जाने का ऐसा नहीं है. No. He, on one hand, he has got the beads in which he is going to take the name of the Lord. So for tapascharya, you can do even rolling of the beads. You can roll the beads, you can say the name, you can be lost in the Lord. So, he thought of sitting down for penance. Lord Brahma underwent penance for 1000 years by calculation of the demigods. He heard the transcendental vibration from the sky and he accepted as divine. Thus he controlled his mind and senses, and the penance he executed were a great lesson for the living creatures. Thus he is known as the greatest of the ascetics.
He's a demigod, right? Brahma. So if how do they do penance? उनके पास mind रहता है क्या?
Mind दिया गया है उनको. You see, if the gods are not given, then they will not be able to function in their domains or no. Mind is a tool. Please understand, mind is a very, very important tool. If the tool is not being used, then what is the point?
So demigods have.
Everybody has, including you.
So, but you always say that all the faculties, like the body का जो faculties है, वो सभी चाहिए for doing penance or for doing meditation. तो उनके पास बाकी bodies नहीं है, तो कैसे करेगा penance?
बाकी bodies नहीं है ने, उन लोगों को अगर हमारी दुनिया में आना है, ये दुनिया में आना है, तो बॉडी लेना पड़ता है. समझ में आया कि नहीं आया? हाँ? अरे if he wants to go to the state of realization, he has to first become a human being. Otherwise he is latakta bulbul somewhere in the domain. He is not allowed. He is just functionality. He's got only functions.
But then he is doing penance, मतलब he has come taken form as a human being and then he is doing penance.
Not necessarily. He can do penance even without taking a form. No? Why do you need a form? He has to do something, isn't it? What is he trying to find out? He is trying to find out the body, that particular thing which is called the Supreme Divine Consciousness. Why do you need a body for seeing Supreme Divine Consciousness?
Body is an impediment.
With a body you are going to see another body only. Correct? The personhood of Godhead, thus being very much satisfied with the penance of Lord Brahma, was pleased to manifest his personal abode Vaikuntha, the supreme planet above all others. This transcendental abode of the Lord is adored by all self-realized persons from all kinds of miseries and fear of the illusory existence. So because he was happy with the 1000 years of penance that he did, he showed him Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha? Yes. In the personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any of the influencing goodness. वहाँ पे influence भी नहीं चलेगा, मस्काबाजी भी नहीं चलता. There is nothing called, there are no ignorance and there is no goodness also. Nothing. There is no extended version, this side and this side. Nothing is there. There is no predominance of the influence of time. So what to speak of the illusory external energy? It cannot enter that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planet are described as having a glowing sky bluish complexion. Their eyes resemble lotus flowers, their dress is of yellowish color, and their bodily features very attractive. They are just the age of growing youths, and they are all having 4 hands and nicely decorated with pearl necklaces with ornamental medallions, and they all appear to be effulgent. Some of them are effulgent like corals and diamonds in complexion and have garlands at their head, blooming like lotus flowers, and some wear earrings. The Vaikuntha planet are also surrounded by various airplanes, all glowing and brilliantly situated. These airplanes belong to the great Mahatmas or devotees of the Lord. The ladies are as beautiful as lightning because of their celestial complexions, and all these combined together appear just like the sky decorated with both clouds and lightning. Imagine air hostesses, beautiful planes, okay, supersonic jumbo jets and all the massive planes. Can you think of such a place? Don't tell me USA. बोला मैकडोनल्ड डगलस बोइंग का कंपनी में ऐसा सब है क्या? उधर सेलेस्टियल डांसर्स वगैरह रहेगा कि नहीं मालूम नहीं, लेकिन ऐसा सब सोचने में जाता है क्या? सोचने में क्या जाता है? So, the goddess of fortune in a transcendental form is engaged in the loving services of the Lord's lotus feet, and being moved by the black bees, followers of spring, she is not only engaged in variegated pleasures, service to the Lord, along with the constant companion, but is also engaged in singing the glories of the Lord's activities. So, what is Lakshmi ji doing?
Serving the
At that point, yeah, imagine करो, पैर दबा रही है और गाना गा रही है. Lord Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planet Krishna, who is the Lord of the entire devotee community, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of the universe, who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, Arhana, the immediate associates. The personality of Godhead, after leaning favorably towards his loving servitors, his very sight intoxicating and attractive, appeared to be very much satisfied. He had a smiling face decorated with enchanting reddish hue. He was dressed in yellow robes and wore earrings and a helmet on his head. He had 4 hands and his देख, helmet का मतलब वो नहीं भैया, crown. बोला helmet किधर गिरने वाला है? बोला मैं आदिशेष के ऊपर से गिरेगा तो लगेगा इसके लिए हेलमेट. तो किसी लड़की ने आके टुंग करके मारा तो. So he had 4 hands and his chest was marked with the lines of the goddess of fortune. Right? So this is basically how Vishnu is described when Krishna is in the form of Vishnu sitting in Vaikuntha in the planet, particularly where everybody who is around him. The Lord was seated on his throne and was surrounded by different energies like the 4, the 16, the 5 and the 6 natural opulences, along with insignificant energies of temporary character, but he was the factual supreme Lord enjoying his own abode. What are these 4, 16, 5, 6 natural opulences? Opulences?
Richness.
Correct. That which describes him. That which is going to, it's an embellishment on the Lord. Correct है कि नहीं? या भाई इतना सब मेरे को एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना, एक दो बता सकता हूँ मैं तुमको. Money. This is a part of his embellishment, isn't it? He is wearing gold and this and that. तो होता है कि नहीं होता? अगर मैं गॉड को विदाउट गोल्ड वाला दूं तो पहचानेगा उसको? पहचान कौन? ऐसा बोलेगा तू कौन सा इधर का अलसूर में से आया लगता है. No, so you need to have him in a grandeur form. Great, handsome, good looking, dude, cool dude. And then he has one tattoo also on his chest. Lakshmi tattoo. Okay. And,
Originated from him only.
huh?
Originated from him only.
या एक रख के दिया निकालो, और दो ऐसा पैर लगा के एक किक मारा तो उधर उसका फीट भी आया. हाँ, Brigu. So many tattoos on his body. Imagine that. Can you think of this person, a grand person, with so many beautiful opulences around him?
Adornment.
Yes, and all these adornments are standing right around him. He is sleeping on this ocean, of milk, as we call it. It's a very beautiful description of the Lord. Just a description of the Lord. After all this is over, then he is saying he's only 9 inches. तो बहुत तकलीफ हो जाएगी तेरे को. तो इतना सब मिनिचर में सोचना पड़ेगा. करेक्ट है कि नहीं? 2 forms, one external, one internal. Internal form is also the same as the external form. So now think about it. If the Lord was seated on his throne, surrounded by different energies like the 4, 16, 5 and 6 natural opulences, along with insignificant energies of temporary character, but he was the factual Supreme Lord enjoying his own abode. I want you to think very carefully. Don't you think these opulences are inside of you also? सोचो, ब्यूटी है ना कि नहीं है? आदमी में एक ब्यूटी रहती है कि नहीं? व्हाट? वो कितना भी तुमको ऐसा, तुम्हारी आंखों के सामने वो दूसरा एकदम गंदा दिखाई देता है, लेकिन किसी को तो अच्छा दिखाई देगा. और हर आदमी को अपने बारे में अच्छा सोचना जरूरी है. Actually today when I wrote the article, in that article I have written what are the bullshit things that we keep on thinking about ourselves. We think that we are fat, we are not looking good, my hairs are grown, I have got white hair, I have got this problem in my leg, I have got this, I have got that. 1000 problems बोलते हैं हम लोग अपने बारे में, लेकिन कभी ऐसा सोचो ना कि वो opulences है, उसको बाहर निकालना जरूरी है. Why not feel nice about yourself? Why not be good self to yourself? Feel good about yourself. You have got so many opulences. Just think about it. Okay. He is served by 16. What are the 16? 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, sky. 5 perceptive sense organs: ear, nose, tongue, skin. 5 working: the hand, legs, stomach, evacuation, genitals, and the mind. The 5 include sense objects: form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. 25 items serve the Lord in material creations. The insignificant opulences are numbering 8. Insignificant. Ashtasiddhi. Insignificant. Useless. वो सिद्धि लोग बाजू में आएगा तो लेने का नहीं उनको. मैजिक पोशन देगा तुमको, बोलेगा ऐसा मंत्र बोलेगा तो छू तुम बहुत रिच हो जाएगा. No, they are also under his control. So think about it. All these things are put together, are under his control, but he calls these as insignificant. The siddhis are insignificant. They are not to be treated on par with the other things. Lord Brahma, thus seeing personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart, and thus full transcendental love and ecstasy, his eyes filled with tears and love, he thus bowed before the Lord. This is the way of the highest perfection of the living being, Paramahansa. So, when he saw the Lord in that particular glory and the pristine form, he bowed down to him and he became a Paramahansa. And seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings to be controlled as is desired, and thus being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and slightly smiling addressed him thus. O beautiful personality of Godhead, addressed Lord Brahma. O Brahma, impregnated with the Vedas, I am very much pleased with your long accumulated penance with a desire for creation. Hardly am I pleased with the pseudo-mystics. I wish you good luck, O Brahmana. You may ask from me, the giver of all benediction, all that you may desire. You may know that the ultimate benediction, as a result of all penances, is to see me by realization. You see, you have been given so many powers to do this and that and create. But what is the ultimate? To see me. The highest perfection of ingenuity in the material perceptions of my abode, and this has been possible because of your submissive attitude in the performance of severe penance according to my order. O sinless Brahmana, you may know from me that it is I who first ordered you to undergo penance when you are perplexed in your duty. Such penance is my heart and soul, and therefore penance and I are non-different. So to reach the Lord himself has come and told him, do the tapa. Correct? Isn't it? The Lord himself told him. Therefore, this is the technique. Follow this. So, sadhana is a must. To reach Vishnu, you need sadhana. I create this cosmos by such penance. I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy. Therefore, the potential power is penance only. मैं अपने तप से ये दुनिया सृष्टि का निर्माण करता हूँ. Who says these words? Vishnu himself is telling Brahma ji. See, I'm telling you how I created this whole thing. So now you also do this. Lord Brahma said, Krishna, you are situated in every living entity's heart as the supreme director, and therefore you are aware of all the endeavors by your superior intelligence, without any hindrance whatsoever. In spite of that, my Lord, I am praying to you to kindly fulfill my desire. May I please be informed how, in spite of your transcendental form, you assume the mundane form, although you have no such form at all. So, he's taken a mundane form, absolutely bland type of a form. How can you take such a form as a very simple human being or a simple person? And please inform me how you, by your own self, manifested different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance and maintenance by combination and permutation. O master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all of them. You may play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible. Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter of instructions by Krishna and thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activity. So he says, just the way you have created yourself as a mundane form, can you please impart that knowledge to me so that I also will be able to create these kind of creatures in this world. Oh my Lord, the unborn, you have shaken hands with me just as a friend does with a friend. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living entities, and I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no perturbation, but I pray that all these may not give rise to pride, as if I were the supreme. This is the most important thing. What is it that the Lord has done over here? By shaking hands, what has he done? Yes, he has given him delegation. He has delegated the job. So the Lord himself has delegated the job to his most beloved devotee, that is Brahmaji, and told him, here I am shaking hands with you, from tomorrow onwards you are going to start the production. Correct? Yes, no. So Brahmaji says, okay, thank you so much for shaking hands with me. Now tell me how you did it so that I can emulate that. Krishna said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for this process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. For reaching me, you have to reach the path through devotion only. Correct? So, how is this to be done? He is going to explain now. All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color and qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you a factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Factual realization means you should have a guarantee कि हाँ मेरे को समझ में आया. Proof of the pudding मांगता है.
Experience.
हाँ, by experience.
Just now he's saying asking to do tapa to see him, and now he's saying I can only reach by devotion.
After tapa this is, sir. He has finished his tapa. हाँ, वो खत्म हो गया. स्टोरी आगे बढ़ गया. तू अभी भी तपा में बैठा है.
No, but even when he was talking to Vishnu also mentioned that if you have to reach me, you have to do tapa.
हाँ सर, मैंने भी किया वैसा, तूने भी किया वैसा, तूने किया इसलिए I am very happy that you have done. So I am giving you the charge of Mr. Brahma. From tomorrow onwards, you can go and start producing. And how are you going to do it? It's just the way I did it. So how? That is what being told. Brahma, it is I, personality of Godhead who was existing before the creation, and when there was nothing but myself, nor was there material nature the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains is I. The same Krishna. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relationship to me, has no reality. No, it is my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So now, the third word. Third word is what? Dispassion, detachment,
Discrimination.
discrimination. In the word discrimination, what is it saying? What is the meaning of the word discrimination? Knowing the real from the unreal. Knowing God from all the unreal stuff. So God, which is Krishna himself, is the real. Rest, everything is unreal. Unreal is Maya. So he says, O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without in relationship to me, अगर मैं उसमें नहीं है, it has no reality, it is unreal, correct? No, it is my illusory energy, it is only my Maya. अगर मैं तुम्हारे कोई भी दुनिया में दिख नहीं रहा हूं, कभी कभी बहुत तकलीफें होती है, बहुत तकलीफें होती है, पैसे नहीं होते, कुछ तकलीफें होती है, उस टाइम पे भगवान किधर भी दिखता नहीं अपने को, बराबर है? You don't see God in anything. To the very normal human being, person is striving very hard, he is not having any money, he doesn't have place to stay, he doesn't have anything. At that point in time, he thinks there is no God. Only the illusory energy is at work. That reflection which appears in the darkness, that is called Maya. O Brahma, please know that the universal element enters the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created and at the same time I am outside of everything. So where is he inside and where is he outside? Just now I explained, where there is Maya, he is not there. And where there is no Maya, he is there. तो माया को ऐसा हटा के भगवान में दिखेगा, नहीं तो नहीं दिखता, करेक्ट है? A person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, Krishna, most certainly search up for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. From both sides you can see this. O Brahma, just follow the conclusion by fixed concentration of mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial nor in the final devastation. That means, मेरे में ध्यान करना बहुत जरूरी है. You have to focus on me, and when you focus on me, you will be able to reach me. तपस्या करने के बाद ये सब करना जरूरी है.
How do you हटाओ माया? माया को हटा के
You have to discriminate. First, dispassion.
So the only way is to put your mind at the Lord's feet.
You have to follow three techniques. No, first is dispassion, second one is detachment, and third one is discrimination. Dispassion, I just now explained. You have to throw all the external influences. This is mine, this is mine, this is mine. ये mind करते हैं, वो mind को निकाल दो, mind field लगा दो उधर एक, और दुम हो जाएगा, चला गया, फिर उसके बाद बचा क्या? I बचा I.
So you're using your intellect for all this.
Yeah, you have to use your mind and the intellect also. And then you have to take these tools and throw them out also. See, when you reach God, you cannot use your mind and the intellect. The mind and the intellect has to surrender at the feet of the Lord. And He is going to clean it and give it back to you. So you have what is called as a pure mind and pure intellect, which will be at the feet of the Lord Himself. Correct? Sukdev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, after being seen in the transcendental form, instructed Brahmaji, the living leader of the living entities, disappeared. On the disappearance of Krishna, Hari, who is the object of transcendental enjoyment for the senses of devotees, Brahma, with folded hands, began to recreate the universe full of living entities as it was previously. Thus, once upon a time, the father of... एक मिनट, ये कितना है बड़ा? It's very small. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in the act of regulative principle, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. So whatever work you do after that, once you have met the Lord and the Lord has given you your job, He has shaken hands with you and told you, जाओ कल से है ना मेरा काम करो. ऐसा अगर शेक हैंड्स करके बोला काम करने का टेक्निक क्या बताया, मैं जैसे कर रहा हूँ तप लगा के मतलब तपश्चर्या करके हर एक चीज में वेरी डीप you have to go inside into that subject matter. You have to become subject matter expert. To go in deeper into the subject, dig deeper, find out the right things, what you are supposed to do, how you are supposed to do. Imagine करो कल ब्रह्मा जी उठ के बोलेंगे ना, अरे भैया कौन सा नाक किसको लगाने का, मतलब पैरेट का नाक आदमी को लगाएगा तो क्या बनेगा, बहुत तकलीफ हो जाएगी ना. तो करेक्ट जगह पे करेक्ट चीज लगनी चाहिए. तो he has to follow the book, the rule book, technology का rule book he has to follow, isn't it? So if he doesn't follow, there is going to be a big problem.
The rule book is made up.
Yeah, that has been imparted to him. So that means first you have to do your research also. Correct or no? तपश्चर्या करना पड़ेगा. घिसने के बाद ही मिलता है सर, ऐसा खाली हवा में से नहीं मिलता है कुछ भी. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in the act of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all the living entities. Narada, the most dear of the inheritors, son of the Brahma, always ready to serve his father, strictly followed the instructions of the father by his mannerly behavior, meekness and self-control. Narada, very much pleased with his father and desired to know all the energies of Vishnu, the master of all energies, for Narada was the greatest of all sages and the greatest of all devotees. Now this is Narada talking to his father. Father told him how this happened. Now Narada is going to speak to Vyas Muni. Vyas Muni is going to talk to his son. His son is now going to talk to Parikshit. And then whatever Parikshit is being told, that is heard by Sukdev Goswami. You know what Sutta Goswami is being told. So he is then telling to the sages who are sitting in front of him. Right? The great Narada also inquired in detail of his father Brahma, the great grandfather of the universe, after seeing him well satisfied. Thereupon the supplementary Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is described by Krishna, which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the father to his son. Brahma, that is Brahma told to Narada. In succession, O king, the great sage Narada instructed Srimad Bhagavatam unto the unlimited powerful Vyasdev, who meditate in the professional service upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, on the bank of the river Saraswati. O king, a question as to how the universe became manifested from the gigantic form of Krishna, as well as other questions, I shall answer in detail by explanation of the 4 verses already mentioned. So we end this chapter 9, Canto 2. Okay. So, बहुत footage खाया ना?
Who is referred to as master of all energies? One of the lines suggested.
हाँ, Brahma ji is taking all these. He has been given all the powers, no, for creation. So he has told to his son, Narad Muni.
Brahmaji is master of all.
Not necessarily. He finally बॉस ने चेक हैंड किया तभी सब ट्रांसफर किया ना पावर्स. साइनिंग अथॉरिटी दे दिया उसको, बोला ले चेक साइन कर लेना. सो एनी क्वेश्चंस? 39 हो गया. What happened? Where? 39. Yes. It began to recreate the universe, full with living entities as it was previously. There is no beginning and end. We are only taking one little portion from the middle. It's a deja vu. He's keeping on doing this time and again. So it's like a circle round. We have just taken one portion of it. Where it is beginning, where it is ending, illa don't know.
प्रीवियस फोर्थ युग हो गया, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट युग की
फिर उसके पहले भी हुआ था, फिर उसके पहले भी हुआ था, फिर उसके पहले भी हुआ था. वो कभी हुआ था क्या मालूम. You see, it is an infinite loop.
Is everything identical?
Yeah, everything is identical. Everything is identical except what happens is depending on the generative factors which are there, like it is moving like this in one direction. It's like I told you, it's like a helical form. It's just going round, 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 round. So we may be in a certain loop which is just little progress over the previous one, right or wrong? ऐसा बोल के फायदा नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ राइट के रॉन्ग, यस बोलने का, राइट। अगर रॉन्ग बोलेगा तो फिर ये बुक फायदे का नहीं। See, we have to always start with positive. Yes sir, right sir, okay sir, will do sir. So Brito, Senthil, any questions? Raj, any questions? DC disappeared. No questions.
Guru,
One
question here. Vishnu is telling Brahma about like for Tapasharya, right? So do we get this wake up call personally from Vishnu, like everybody?
You have to be Brahmaji to get a wake up call. Producer, director. Okay. What he is trying to say over there, let me tell you. It's not a wake up call. We are doing our jobs, no doubt about it, in our material world. Every day we are doing some work or the other. खाने पीने का ये वो सब कुछ करते रहते हैं. You see, nobody tells you when you have grown up. Have anybody told you have grown up? Someday you will be told, you are such a grown up person and yet you are behaving like a child. And someday you will be told, you are still a child, you are still to grow up. We don't know when the whole thing has happened. So in the same way, in our material world also, we are doing our daily chores every single day. खाने का, पीने का, सोने का, ये करना, वो करना, बाहर जाना, लाना, सब चलते रहते हैं. By the grace of Vishnu, as we call, Vishnu बोला ना तुमने, someday, ting ting घंटी बजता है, no doubt about it. दिमाग की घंटी. And when that happens, you wonder, you start questioning. You are on your quest. Quest. So your quest starts. And then the quest grows. The quest grows. And it grows. And it grows. But it can die also. You see how it can die? If you come under the pressure of the divine, of the mundane, finished. How does the mundane affect you? You will find that some people who are so much devotional, one day lose all their devotion. And then what happens to them? They get into the rut of life. So when they get into the rut of life, they lose the track. You will find that many a times the Lord himself doesn't allow this thing to happen. The reason is because there is no sadhana from anybody's side. Sadhana is important, isn't it? You see, बगैर ट्राई किए कोई भी चीज मिलेगा तो कैसा है? अभी मैंने ये हमारे यहाँ ब्रह्मा जी बैठे हैं, उनको मैंने बोला, बस तेरा पासपोर्ट में मैं छप्पा लगाता हूँ, गो टू गोलोका. वो वहां पे क्या लेके जाने का सोच रहा है, देख लेना. वो बोला मैं कमंडलू लेके जाता हूँ. उधर खाने को मिलेगा क्या? ऐसा नहीं चलता है. गोलोका में डांसिंग सेशंस, इवनिंग नाइट आउट्स, इवनिंग नाइट आउट बोलने का क्या नाइट आउट बोलने का? नो डाउट अबाउट
नाइट आउट्स.
या सांबा रंबा पता नहीं क्या क्या सब डांस करना पड़ेगा जाके उधर. वो सब आना मांगता है पहले. So the thing is, only those who are deserving can get a chance, or whom the Lord thinks as deserving. किसी बॉस के साथ पंगा नहीं ले सकते, एक बात मालूम है. दूसरा, मेरा नंबर आएगा क्या? We are always thinking मेरा नंबर कभी आएगा, आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, तो नहीं आएगा. So we have to always hope for the best, isn't it? You know, there are these countries where lottery system works to get US citizenship or something like that.
Right.
So अभी लॉटरी वाले को सबको यह लगता है, गॉड प्लीज गिव मी नो, प्लीज गिव मी नो. करना पड़ता है ना लॉटरी सिस्टम में भी, ग्रीन कार्ड और सिटीजनशिप. वो तो only God knows. इसीलिए हम लोग का वेबसाइट का नाम भी कृष्णा knows. God knows, whether only he knows. Nobody knows. So on one side it is tapascharya, hard tapa, which Brahmaji could do and could get it. Second, lottery system. God says, okay, you are in, then you are there in the team. Okay.
Yeah.
Chalo, I shall take a leave. You have a very good evening or a good morning and take care. Alright?
Bye. Bye.
Chalo. Next week ka program we will announce.